This week on Do Up Ramblings, we have the pleasure of talking to one of the greats of the business, honored recently at the East Coast Music Hall of Fame, and where he was inducted, and rightfully so, Jay Siegel, the lead singer of the Tokens. Jay, it's good to have you on board.
Hey, Glenn. Good to be here. It's good to be anywhere.
Take me back to when you were 15, 16 years old and how this all started.
How did it all start? And we're still here. It's amazing.
Yeah.
In Lincoln High School in Brooklyn, New York. I was in the chorus in Lincoln High School, and this kid was sitting next to me in the chorus. And he asked me if I wanted to be part of a rock and roll group that he was starting. And I loved the harmony, and I loved that way, the potential of what that could have become. I never thought it would become what it did anyway. But anyway, he lived about 5 blocks from where I lived, and I went over to his house, and he sat down at the piano. He played some songs, and I sang some songs, and I made the audition. I became part of the group, and the kid's name was Neil Sedaka. Yeah. He was the kid, yeah. Big influence in my life in music.
Now, the group that started was the Link Tones. Did you start as the Link Tones?
Well, we went to Lincoln High School, so of course, Link from Lincoln High School to Link Tones.
And how did that transform to the Tokens?
Well, Neil Sedaka, when we formed the Link Tones, which was myself and Hank Medras and Neil Sedaka and a wonderful girl, vocalist. Her name was Cynthia.
Beautiful voice.
Beautiful voice. I think Neil knew somebody in the record business, and he became our manager, and he gave us the name The Tokens. But it was not the tokens like the tokens to get in the subway or the bus. It was meant to be the tokens of affection or the tokens of love or something like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's because people think, oh, the tokens, you mean you needed a token to go on the train? It's like, no, not that kind of token. Why would we want to be named after a subway token?
And then you had the opportunity to record a song called The Lion Sleeps Tonight. And that was something you weren't too crazy about when you first saw it, huh?
Wait, The Lion Sleeps Tonight. Let me think if I remember that one. Yeah, I do remember that, yeah. Actually, I love folk music. I had a very eclectic taste in music. I liked country music, I liked classical, I liked folk. And one time I was listening to the radio, and I heard a song on the radio recorded by Pete Seeger and the Weavers, and it was a live album. It was called The Weavers at Carnegie Hall. The Weavers were probably one of the biggest folk acts of
absolutely.
Of the 50s. And the song that I heard on the radio was Whim Away. It wasn't The Lion Sleeps Tonight, it was Whim Away, and Pete Seeger sang this whole melody in falsetto, in his falsetto voice, and I thought, wait, I love the melody, and I love the chant in the background, and I just love to imitate him and sing that song, and I taught it to the rest of the guys in the group, and we used to sing it as Whim Away, and we sang it for fun, and we sang it to warm up our vocal cords.
There's been a lot of talk about that song recently, and Solomon Linda, who first recorded it and wrote the song many, many years ago.
1939.
And now it looks like his family are starting to get some residuals from it?
Yeah, well, mostly from the Disney company. If any of your listeners out there get Netflix, there's a movie that just was released last week, and it's called The Lion's Share, and it's a 1.5-hour movie about the history of The Lion Sleeps Tonight, and I had the pleasure of being part of that movie. So if you'll tune into Netflix and look at The Lion's Share, you'll see some old video clips of me and some new ones as well.
And I can tell you, it's a great story because I've looked into that, and I've done some things in the newsletter about the history of the song, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's going to be a great show. From there, you had a couple more hits, but then you kind of went off in a different direction.
Well, our first big hit record was Tonight I Fell in Love, and it was a big national hit record. In fact, in a lot of the areas in the Northeast, it was the #1 record, Tonight I Fell in Love. It's the first song that we wrote together, we produced, and performed. And we said, well, this is a big hit record, and then we heard about the term one-hit wonders. And we said to ourselves, well, what if we never have a hit record again? You know, what do we, you know, we love this business.
What are you going to do?
We're going to learn all about the music business. We learned about production and producing music. We learned about the publishing end of it, and we were one of the first acts to start our own record company and our own publishing company. And it's written in the history books that we were the first vocal group to produce a #1 million selling record for another vocal group. And that's the first record that we ever produced that went to #1 was the Chiffons record of He's So Fine.
Right, on the BT Puppy label?
No, that was on Laurie Records.
On Laurie. What was BT
Records.
Puppy label?
That was our own label. BT for Bright Tunes, that was the name of our publishing company. And we produced a lot of our own records for BT Puppy. All the Happenings records that we produced was on that label. And Randy and the Rainbows, we made that record. Denise, we were in the studio day in and day night. If we weren't recording records for ourselves as the Tokens, we were producing music for other artists.
And how long did you do that in the producing end of it?
Oh, we did it throughout the 70s. You know, I guess probably the biggest records we ever made were the three of the biggest Tony Orlando records. We produced Knock 3 Times, Candida, and Tie a Yellow Ribbon. So you know, so we did it well into the 70s.
And after that, what'd you do?
Well, after that, you know, we were very much involved in writing and performing and producing radio and TV jingles, and we were involved. You know, probably there wasn't a week that went by that we didn't do some kind of jingle for a product for radio and television. I just I just looked at the total. In the period of about, I don't know, maybe 10 years, we've done 70 radio and TV commercials that were, most of them were national spots, from airlines to beer, to cigarettes, to deodorants, to toothpaste. We've done commercials for every, you know, and that was pretty lucrative.
Yeah, good business.
You know, nice getting those residuals from doing those jingles.
But it wasn't as much as you got from recording records back in the 50s.
Oh no, in records back in the 50s, we got about $8.
Yeah, really.
Oh, we know, we were kids.
Yep.
Very naive. We didn't know that we were in the music business. We didn't know there were two words, music and business. We only concentrated on the music part of it. And the business was really, we were given the business by a lot of record company owners and managers that, or should I say mismanagers that, you know, made a lot of money, and we didn't see very much of it.
Obviously, you didn't have to live off those days back in the 50s and 60s from the records that you made. Then you get into a different business. But boy, the success of The Lion Sleeps Tonight, The Lion Sleeps Tonight, not once, not twice, but 3 times, just taking off and busting through the charts.
Yeah, well, when The Lion King, the movie The Lion King came out, RCA Victor re-released The Lion King, The Lion Sleeps Tonight, and it became not just a national hit, it was a worldwide hit for the second time in a row. And now we're going to be featured in the song is going to be used in the new Lion King movie that's coming out in the end of July, and this new movie on Netflix, The Lion's Share. So The Lion Sleeps Tonight definitely has a life of its own. With or without me, it has a life of its own.
And I don't think there's another record in the history of recording, no matter whether it's doo-wop or whatever genre it is, that's ever had that success.
Not that I know of. I know we have an audience of 5-year-olds to 85-year-olds. I mean, there's not a child that doesn't know. They sing it in school, you know, they sing it in their class plays. It's just, yeah, it does. It has a life of its own. Amazing.
Included in this clip will be the video of that 12-minute video of you in your garage. That's the stuff that you have in there is like a little museum, but it's a history of what you've done. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, I can't sell my house because, you know, from the first show that we've ever done, I used to collect the posters, and one by one, I would like hang them up in my garage, because my wife once said to me, you know, we have to paint the garage. I don't like painting. So I said, well, how about if I decorate it with all these, you know, posters and flyers from all these shows that we've done? And then I have posters from the very first show that we've done. It was a college in New York called CW Post College, and it says, tonight, the Tokens, The Lion Sleeps Tonight, admission. The admission was $2.
Yeah.
$2. We did a 90-minute show for $2. Yeah.
It's got to be neat some nights just to go out there and look around, and it takes you back to the places and the things you've done, and so many great memories.
Oh yeah, I just look around my ceiling, the walls, the refrigerator down there, and each each poster brings me back another, brings back another memory to, and most of them were great times. We had great memories.
I'm told that one of the highlights of your life is doing a show and tell for your granddaughter.
That's true. I tell that story most of our performances. When The Lion Sleeps Tonight was a hit for the second time, my granddaughter was 5 years old and she was in kindergarten. So she told all her classmates, all her friends in her class, my grandpa made that song, sings that song. And none of them, of course, believed her. They said, oh yeah, he sings it in the shower, he sings it in the garage, he didn't. And she was very upset that none of her friends believed that her grandpa sang the song. So, of course, I hated to see my granddaughter upset like that. So one day, and this is the truth, she brought me into her kindergarten class for show and tell. And then she was very popular. Then everybody believed that her grandpa made this record, So, yeah, I remember. She's 25 years old now, by the way.
What a great memory, because grandkids are so special.
For her too, it's a great memory for her. Yeah.
How do you keep that voice? I've heard you several times in the last few years. The voice is as good, if not a little bit better today than it was back then.
Well, people ask me that all the time, and I said, well, the only answer I can come up with is when I'm on stage, that's really not me. That's another person. When I'm off stage, like I'm talking to you now, Glenn, I'm a normal person. I'm just like you. I just have a different kind of job. And tomorrow morning, when it's whatever it is, my wife will say to me, "Did you take the garbage out? We need milk."
Yeah.
I live a normal life. After work, I go home. I call it work. It's really not work. Getting to the job, that's the work. But after my job is finished, I go home and I'm a father, a grandfather, and a husband. And I think that's maintaining a normalcy in your life will keep me my voice the way it is. And I guess I'm just lucky.
Yeah, I guess you are, because you've done it very well for a long, long period of time. And being honored tonight at the East Coast Music Hall of Fame, being inducted into their first class into the Hall of Fame, is going to be a great honor.
Yeah, that's a big deal. I mean, this organization was started just about a year ago, and I'm getting this Living Legend Award. I'm glad I'm not getting anything other than a living legend, And to me, it's just overwhelming. I just shake my head. I said, yeah. People tell me, they remind me of what I've done, because I don't really think about it that much. Yeah, I did that. I produced that. I did that. I sang. We opened for the Beatles. Yeah, we did that. Wow. Then they remind me of all the things that I've done, because I don't even remember.
Yeah. As you look back, are you totally amazed at how strong the music is today? 55 years later?
Oh, totally. Like I say, they're going to be listening to the rap and hip hop music 50 years from now. I don't know. But I know when we come to these sold out shows, to these theaters, and you have especially to my shows, people bring their grandkids, because everybody wants to see the kids, the guys that sang The Lion Sleeps Tonight, and they just stand up and they just the reception is so fabulous. I said, what a great job I have. I have a great job. I think I make people happy, and I don't think you could have a better job than making people happy.
I agree 100%. Yeah. That's one thing this newsletter does. People look forward to it Sunday morning. They get up and they read it. It's like reading the Sunday newspaper in your hometown. And I'm being honored tonight too, and that for the work we've done in this newsletter. And that's thank you. And that
well.
So it makes me feel good but we're normal people. We put our pants on the same way as the fan that's sitting in the audience.
But people don't perceive us.
No, they don't.
They don't perceive performers as they see us as a different type of human being. But we're really not. Off stage, we're just like everybody else. I went out and I picked up my milk and butter, and I took out the garbage, and when I'm on stage, I said to my friends, that's not me that up there on stage. That's a different person.
Yeah.
That's not me. I'm not like that at all.
Finally, one other thing. I'm also going to interview Kurt Yajin, Frenchie, later today. He's had an amazing career, from being a youngster doing opera to singing with you. He's an unbelievable individual.
Tremendous talent, and a tremendous person. Just one of the nicest people I've ever met. and a tremendous performance. And I mean, he's been on Broadway. He was in the original. Well, he'll tell you that.
Yeah,
you know,
Jesus
he's been
Christ
in
Superstar. Yeah.
Jesus Christ Superstar. He was in the movie. He was in the movie Hair. He was part of the Planetones. He's been in show business his whole life.
Yeah. Great talent and a great guy.
Great guy. Great guy.
Well, look, congratulations again. Good luck tonight, and thank you for spending some time with us here on Do Up Sound.
And thank you, Glenn, and keep doing what you're doing, because we'll miss you if you don't.
I'll be there.
Okay,
Thanks, Jay.
Me too.